No, I was very nervous, and I just hoped that it would hopefully be successful, but that it sort of became the most successful Bond film ever, I didn't expect. And I'm just really relieved because now I can sleep again, because during production you don't get that much sleep. Yeah, no, I feel I achieved what I wanted to, but I definitely felt the pressure because you're making sort of the follow-up movie to the most successful Bond movie ever, and there's an enormous amount of pressure, but I feel much better about it now. It's basically, starts like sort of in half an hour to an hour after Casino Royale ended, and we cut into straight into like the middle of a car chase, and that sort of chase brings us to Siena, and then sort of starts a world tour around the globe where Bond basically is trying to find who is behind the murder of Vespa, who is the organization, who stands behind it, and ultimately he finds his quantum of solace at the end of the movie, and sort of he can let that storyline go. So hopefully, there might be a great opportunity to make a trilogy out of this, and where Bond in the next one can sort of find a little bit more humor and a few more girls again he can sleep with. It was just a very tricky one to film because you're working with the elements. You have to you have working constantly battling the weather, and the waves, and as the weather can change very very fast, it can really affect the way you shoot the scene, and you're losing time, and you only have a certain amount of time and a certain amount of money. So every time I think you're not in a studio environment, you're dealing with the weather, and if you're not lucky, it can really hurt the movie or can hurt your scenes or what you shoot. So the boat scene specifically, because you're on the water, is very tricky to shoot. Yeah, I mean the locations I'm really pleased in the film, and I tried to, because I felt Bond locations are iconic, and you have to find locations nobody has ever shot in before. So, I'm really pleased with the Opera in Bregenz, or with the hotel, like the Isa Hotel in Chile, or the Palio. There are such memorable locations, and that we found them and were able to shoot in them. I'm just really really happy. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of techniques, the way I've done films in the past, especially with parallel action and intercutting, it's something I've been doing a lot, and I used it a lot on this film, to have a primary action and then sort of a secondary action. We cut again, so I have it in the backdrop, which we have in Siena with the horse race, or with the opera with Tosca in the background, or at the end when you have like sort of Bond stories, Camille's story, and them sort of like both like intercut against one another, and then sort of them being joined together at the end of the scene. I just enjoyed working with Daniel so much because, he was really, once I met Daniel, I decided, okay, I want to make this movie because I knew that we have to be sort of partners in crime and in this whole journey. And unless the two of us would really get along and really combine forces, we wouldn't be able to make the best movie possible. I think that there are a lot of like little things and in the film which are very like personal to me, and also I was focusing on, in some moments, in a very like more quiet moments, also with the sound design, to use the sound design and not necessarily make action sequences to approach them louder is better. So for instance, in the opera sequence, when there's the gun battle, I drop the sound and it's suddenly quiet and make it very sort of abstract and unrealistic, and that's sort of more like in that moment the action scenes almost stands more as a metaphor than anything else, and those kind of things are very much me, and it was important for me to bring these elements into the movie.